When I signed up to pimp, it was something I understood. People gon' feel a way about it, and it's nothing good. It's in their biology, ain't a hobby. Pimpin' could feel the hate radiating from their body. They justify by classifying us with the trash, when just like everybody else, we just after some cash. They say that we abuse and we exploit, but it's deeper than that, and we gon' speak on the facts. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimpin' you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but want a winner's reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimpin', then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay. I'm so sick of these.
I don't know of one creature on this entire planet that's hated more than this pimpin', man. Not a one. And it's crazy because, well, it's not crazy to me, because I got a deeper understanding of this shit now. But the reasons that people say that they hate the pimping, right? When you really think about these reasons, the majority of them are reasons that, you know, other people, they got the same flaws or the same behaviors or what have you. Like, they say that the pimping is abusive, physically, mentally, emotionally, and so forth. But I don't know of a world where there's no such thing as abusive husbands, where abusive husbands don't exist. I don't know of a world where, you know, abusive boyfriends don't exist. So, just like you have abusive boyfriends and abusive husbands, you have good husbands and good boyfriends. It's the same thing with the pimping. You have abusive motherfuckers in the pimping, but just as well, on the flip side of that coin, you got some good pimping too, that treat women very well, that treat them accordingly, that treat them good, right? But unlike with boyfriends and husbands, because that's what more people in the world are, you got way more boyfriends and way more husbands than you got pimping in the world. So naturally, they gonna hate on the pimping, they gonna ostracize the pimping and put a magnifying glass on everything that's wrong with the pimping. And of course, they not gonna put a magnifying glass on themselves because, you know, the whole objective is to make the pimping look bad. But so in media, or, you know, word of mouth or whatever the case may be, outside the game, outside the pimping, whenever somebody talks about pimping, 9 times out of 10 is something bad. They talk about how the pimping treat women bad and exploit women and so on and so forth, but they don't speak on nothing good that the pimping does. Hey man, I know pimps that give to charities. I know pimps that do for families. I know pimps that done put loved ones through college. Man, you name it. Like everything the squares do, pimps do too. Like everything good the squares do, the pimping does too. You dig? So that's not the real reasons why the world or society really hates the pimping. See, it's really a few things. It's really a lot of things. But there's one particular thing about this pimping that makes the world just hate us, that just makes them sick to their stomach and can't stand just the thought of the pimping. See, unlike that husband or unlike that boyfriend, unlike that square, what they can't stand about the pimping is the fact that you have women out there that go out there and sacrifice themselves, sacrifice their time, sacrifice their health, sacrifice their safety, just sacrifice a lot of good things about themselves to make money and then come back and give all of this money to the pimping. That's the thing that has the world mad at the pimping. It's that one thing. Everything else is just like, you know, makeup. Everything else is cosmetic. Everything else is to dress the shit up and make it look good. Because if it was only about the money, right, they wouldn't be able to paint the picture accordingly. They wouldn't be able to paint the picture according to their agenda. They couldn't make the pimping look like monsters and animals if it was only about the money. If the only bad thing they had to say about the pimping is, you know, he's a lazy motherfucker, and you know, that's just not right. That he collects a woman's money and doesn't do anything for it, which that's not true, but on the outside looking in, that's the way it looks. You dig? Just like a basketball coach, you know, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, they look like they don't do nothing, they just stand on the sideline while, you know, Shaq and Kobe and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and all of them run up and down the court and do all the work. That's not the case. See, when it comes to this pimping, what people don't understand is that the pimping isn't responsible for the results. See, they think that just the person who's responsible for the results is the only one that should get some money. So because the pimping ain't responsible for the results, the pimping shouldn't get no money, especially not all the money like the pimping does, right? But the pimping is a leader. And a leader in any situation is not responsible for the results. A leader is responsible for the people who are responsible for the results. And that's what the pimping is. You know, so the pimping ain't responsible for the results, which is the money in this case. The money is the result. And the pimping ain't responsible for getting the money. The pimping is responsible for the people who are getting the money, which in this case is the hoes, right? And it's a whole lot of work that goes into being responsible for the people that's responsible for getting the money, for getting the results. You know, it's not something that it looks like, you know, to a lot of people who don't care to delve into the situation and really understand the inner workings of a pimp. It looks like the pimping is just a lazy motherfucker who don't do nothing. But hey, just because we're not applying a whole lot of physical labor to the situation doesn't mean that we don't apply labor to the situation. It's not physical. You know, it's a lot of psychological labor involved. It's a lot of mental and emotional labor involved. You dig? The type of labor that the average motherfucker can't handle, obviously, because they not doing it. You know, pimping ain't average. So whenever you see somebody hating on this pimping, man, you know, and they try to give justification, and their justification is, oh, pimps are abusive, and pimps exploit women, and pimps do all these bad things. Whenever they try to paint us to be a monster, that's not the real reason why motherfuckers hate us. Motherfuckers can't stand the fact that, again, women go out there and they make all these sacrifices to get all this money, and then they come and hand it to a pimp. That's the reason why motherfuckers hate us, because that's the one thing that distinguishes us from every other type of man in the world, is the fact that hoes break themselves to the pimping. So, and we're not anymore, just to you know, put a little bit more paint where it ain't, we're not any more abusive than a square is. You know, husbands as a whole, boyfriends as a whole, just like pimps as a whole, have every type of individual, good and bad. You know, so the pimping ain't no more of an animal than the husband or the boyfriend. And you know, on the flip side of that same token, we're just as good to women as husbands and boyfriends. You dig? I, you know, like to think that the pimping is a little better than the husband and the boyfriend, you know, because the pimping is just different. We just pay attention to details that husband and that boyfriend ain't gonna pay attention to, and therefore we have a deeper understanding of women, and you know, the just the whole makeup of women and why they do what they do, how they operate, you know, how God made them and so forth. You know, the pimp just got a deeper understanding of women as a whole. So therefore, you know, it sets the stage for us to perform better when it comes to treating them better. You dig? But that's the real reason why motherfuckers hate this pimping, man. So let that marinate on your mind one time. Freezes it. Put some of this good old love juice in your body like so. Damn. I ain't got no mask. Pimpin' ain't got no mask on me, but best believe when I go out in traffic today, I got a mask in the car, so Pimpin' is gonna stay masked up. So you stay your goofball ass masked the fuck up. Aha.
Now come and take a sip of this game. Pour it down your ear and let it drip to your brain so you can run it up, run it up. And we'll be coming up, really coming up. Take a sip of this game, let it saturate your brain. Taylor, make your homework so we can match it with my name. Then attach it to your frame, right? Now you game tight. Ready, set, ho. You gon' check her back the same night. Now you breaking tricks and handling thousands. While these bitches on the blade doing the mannequin challenge. Standing there looking stupid cause they has no game to hit a trick